Hello and welcome to week 2 of 52 weeks of storytelling. If you didn't catch week 1, go check out week 1. It was epic. I'll have that linked in the description. So, 52 weeks of storytelling is telling your story or helping someone else tell their story over the course of 52 weeks. We are following along in a journal that you can find linked below. You can either purchase it on Amazon as a print on demand book, or you can grab the printable for a lower price point off of Etsy. Both of those links are found below. With that, I'll tell you a little bit about where 52 weeks came from. 52 weeks of storytelling came from this idea of how can we tackle storytelling and telling our life story in bite-sized manageable pieces over the course of 52 weeks. Now, it doesn't matter if you're starting on the first week of a year or if you're starting in the middle of the year. So if you've just found this series, no problem. Jump in right where you are. The prompts are not seasonal, so they don't line up with any dates or anything. They're sort of random, but there's some, method to my madness. Moving on, expectations. So what you can expect out of this series is an opportunity to follow along a storytelling process that I created that will help you tell a part of your story once a week. If you come back every week for 52 weeks, follow the video, either fill in the book, fill in the worksheet, or just write it on a piece of paper, you will have 52 pages of your story once you are finished. And I think that's pretty amazing. So, with that, we are going to jump into this week's prompt. This week's prompt is favorite recipe. I love talking about how we can write about recipes because there are just so many different ways. One way we can talk about our favorite recipes is talking and thinking about the person who shared the recipe with us. So when we are using the legacy storytelling method, it is comprised of the 5 W's: who, what, why, when, and where. Why in this case would be why someone shared this recipe with you. And the who would be the person who shared it with you. The what would be the fact that they shared it with you, potentially what was happening. And then the when was when they shared it with you. The where were you when it happened? And then the digging in deeper questions, which those are that's where the magic happens, is looking at how did this make you feel? How did it impact your life? And what do you want people to remember about this moment or this recipe or this person? So that's how you can talk about a favorite recipe. That's one way. I'm going to share an example using one of my favorite recipes, and it's actually a recipe I can't use anymore because I have a gluten intolerance problem. So one of the things that got passed down in my family is there's an Irish soda bread recipe that got passed down, and then there's also a buttermilk biscuit recipe that got passed down, and they're from either side of my family. So one's from my maternal side and one's from my paternal side. And those were recipes that got passed down to me truly by my parents, but I also got to experience my grandparents making those recipes. So I have decades worth of memories of watching my grandparents make these things, enjoying them, and then sharing them with my family and then with my kids. So when you're thinking about your favorite recipe or you're talking to someone you love about their favorite recipe, keep in mind that there are multiple levels of characters in the story. There's multiple timelines, because it isn't always just about when someone shared it with you. There's probably a story about when someone shared it with them and what was happening at that time period, especially if you're looking back, a century or more. And if you have the opportunity to dig into those moments and those memories and those stories, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do that now before it is too late. And don't forget to share them with someone you love. If you have small humans, share them with your small humans. If you don't, fill it out in the book. Fill it out in the book, because someday someone's going to find it. And if you want to be able to share that with someone, you have to take the time to write it down now. So I will stop soapboxing at you. That is how we can use the legacy storytelling method to write about favorite recipes. Now, if you are looking in the journal, you can use the left page to outline your story and then use the right page to actually write your draft. And when you're finished, you have something beautiful to share. Don't forget to share your story once you've written it. And I hope that you will come back next week for the next prompt and the next storytelling experience. As always, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. And until we talk again, happy writing.